ever wanted to get more clients? What about on video? I know you've heard me talk about this, and I'm super excited. I'm super ecstatic. I met Nate earlier this year, and we were at a live event, and he was on stage. And he was one of my favorite presentations because, as you know, I tend to do stuff on video from time to time. And I know you've wanted to get clients on video. You've heard about Facebook Live. You've heard about YouTube. There's LinkedIn, Instagram video. Should I shoot like this? Should I shoot like that? What about this camera? What about that? There are so many questions, and I am super excited, as much as you are, to be learning today, as well as interviewing Mr. Nate Woodbury. He helps influencers build massive followings on YouTube to generate 7 figures in revenue. You heard all of that correctly. I'm not going to take any more time because I want to hear from him as much as you do. We're going to thank our sponsor, and then I'm going to bring up Mr. Nate Woodbury. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nate Woodbury. Nate, how are you doing today?
Having a great day. Yeah, excited to be on the show.
I'm excited to have you here. Like I was saying in the intro, you were phenomenal on stage, and I want to learn and know what you know. What inspired you to get started with all of this? Why video? Why YouTube?
Yeah, I kind of stumbled upon my strategy by accident. I started my company 9.5 years ago doing web design. And then I found that my clients had pretty websites that they were happy with, but they weren't really getting traffic. So then I created an SEO, search and optimization service. And now they started getting traffic, but yet the traffic wasn't buying anything. So then I just started to make a sales video for them so they could, promote something on their website and make a sale. Interesting side note is, even back then, I figured out how to use the iPhone 4S to make a great quality video. And my clients were like, "Hey, can you help me make videos like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I film on my iPhone." Anyway, so I over time just got better and better at it. And one of the strategies that we use to get our websites and web pages to rank on the top of Google is we'd create a how-to video. It would be on YouTube, and we'd put that YouTube video on the web page. We'd transcribe it so there'd be text on the page, and we'd make it look nice. We'd create infographics, link it to Pinterest. We'd write articles and do article marketing and other link building back to the page. So there's a lot of work, but we got these pages ranked on the top of Google. And then I noticed something. I noticed that the YouTube video itself over on YouTube was getting 50 times more views and traffic than the pages that were ranking on the top of Google. And I just love efficiency. I love results. And so right then I just decided, you know what, I need to shift my focus and just simplify it down to this YouTube strategy. And I've perfected it over the years. And so now we've got a lot of channels with a lot of momentum getting great results.
I remember you were sharing some of them, and you're talking not just thousands of subscribers, not just tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of subscribers. How do you pull that off?
Yeah, well, it takes time. It's a momentum building strategy. We know how to take advantage of YouTube search. So making videos on topics that people are searching for. So you're naturally going to pull in these people that are already searching for you and your expertise. And then we also know what the YouTube algorithm is looking for and how to create videos that YouTube will then promote. And it's really cool that YouTube will promote your videos and you don't have to pay YouTube for that promotion, because they actually pay you half of the ad revenue that they get. And so we actually get paid. That's a little piece of what we get paid, but it amounts to, at this point, it amounts to 5 figures monthly of ad revenue. But yet our videos are being promoted, which drive leads into our clients. Like my biggest channel is with my friend Chris Crone, and I have permission to share some pretty crazy numbers. That channel is up to 450,000 subscribers. We started it at 0. And
how long ago?
4.5 years. 4.5 years ago, the first 2 years, we just did one video per week, and we took a summer off even because he just with travel schedule. But then just almost 2.5 years ago now, so 2 years after we launched, is when we went to 5 episodes a week. And anyway, it progressively grew from there. So revenue wise, that channel is bringing in between $500,000 and $600,000 per month.
In just 4.5 years. Because
Uh-huh.
someone might be listening and going, well, that took a long time. But if you're listening to what Nate is saying, it sounds like it was exponential growth in years 2, 3, and 4, because if you took a summer off and you're only doing one a week, it averages out 450,000 subscribers in 4.5 years. It's about 100,000 subscribers a year. Did you have 100,000 after 1 year? The first year, I should say specifically.
In fact, 2 years of going mostly every week, we are up to 12,000 subscribers. We had lots of gradual growth. We had leads coming in, but when we decided to switch to 5 episodes a week, that's when the exponential growth really started to happen. And I mean, there's some strategies that we use, like there's a sequel technique where we knew that we had a good performing video, and so we created a sequel to that video, knowing that YouTube would promote it. That video has now brought in 5 million views. In 5 weeks, that caused our channel to grow from 80,000 subscribers to 160,000 subscribers. 5 weeks. We were excited about that. Obviously, that was pretty fun.
You should be excited. That's huge. And I know people that, I'll be honest, myself, I would love to have 12,000 people on my channel right now, but I know the potential is there. And do you think that's what most people shy away from? They go, wow, 2, 3 years and 5 times a week times that many. You're talking hundreds of videos. Do you think that's what shies most people away from it, is the actual work involved?
Well, certainly, I think that applies to every platform, because there's ways that you can leverage Facebook and generate 7 figures of revenue. There's ways that you can leverage LinkedIn or uh, Instagram. I have a friend that definitely knows how to leverage Instagram. If you look at, we're up to over 900 videos that we've created on that channel with Chris Crone.
Wow.
It's a lot of work. So it is a lot of work, but
But look at the
we're
payoff.
definitely glad. Yeah, we love that payoff.
Who would you say you're really helping, and how are you helping them? I mentioned influencers, and you mentioned Chris Crone. Who else are you working with, and what, like, as a profile, who is someone that's a good candidate to apply for your coaching?
Yeah, so I love working with people who have a message to share with the world. Typically, they have a business set up already that's profitable, and it's built around their expertise. So whether they offer coaching, or they're a public speaker, or they have courses that they sell online, those are the funnest people for me to work with, especially align that with when their purpose aligns with mine. Like they have a purpose to influence the world for good. It just lights me up, because then I can combine my expertise in helping them become a bigger influence, and that's where I get my fulfillment.
So do you work primarily with authors, with coaches, public speakers? Is it weighted any more on one than the other?
Um, Mostly all of them are authors, but they would call themselves, coaches or speakers first. So it's probably of all the, I've got 13 clients, so it's not like I've got thousands of the, I guess I've got a lot more coaching clients, but as far as, I produce 13 different YouTube channels, and they're probably an equal mix of coaches and speakers.
Okay. So what's the biggest transformation out of anyone you've worked with? Is it Chris, or is there someone else, or do you want to add in a second story?
Definitely Chris is a big one. I can add in a couple more, a couple that will contrast. So one is a guy named John Crestani, very, very successful already. I don't think I can share the number specifically, but let's just say before working with me, he made multi-millions per year in the digital space. And he had built his YouTube channel up to 65,000 subscribers. So he knew what he was doing to a degree on YouTube. a lot of the growth he had there was from he's really good at paid traffic. And so he knew how to direct paid traffic to YouTube. But then when he saw what I could do and some of the strategies that I'm going to reveal all my secrets today, he just said, all right, Nate, I want you and your team to produce my channel. And in 8 months from launch, I believe that's how long we've been working now, we're up to 130,000 subscribers. He's getting in tons of leads. So it's just another revenue stream for him now is now coming from YouTube. And the cool thing is his ad revenue is it's almost, well, it's 150% of what he pays me. So he pays me a decent amount of money for because we're doing 20 episodes a month. But yet the ad revenue is actually paying that and then some, plus he's getting all these leads. So pretty good scenario. And another one I can share is Paul Jenkins. His channel is Live on Purpose TV. He had a YouTube channel for years, but it amounted up to 235 subscribers. And so we launched with 5 episodes a week. This is just going back last November. And at that 4-month mark, some magic happens in the algorithm. We get a spike. I don't remember the exact stages of where it's at, but today we're now at between 80 and 85,000 subscribers, and it's a huge lead generation machine for him. He teaches positivity, parenting, and relationships.
That's very exciting for at least me, and I know Expert Authority World is going, holy smokes, I need to be doing more on video now, because I remember you saying the 4-month mark, and I've had that front and center of my mind. Can you tell me about the live streaming? Does it count? Does it matter if you're uploading a video, live streaming it, doing an event, or does YouTube just want content multiple times a week consistently for 4 months? Does the
great
format
question.
matter?
And I'll admit that I'm not an expert at live streaming, so I definitely have my areas of expertise. We've experimented with live streaming, and it always gets an instant boost. It always brings in immediate eyeballs to the channel. But as far as using it as a consistent strategy, we haven't done it enough that I could give you any more goodies than that.
Okay. Because I remember you said, if I remember correctly, 3 to 5 videos a week for at least 4 months, and I took that as just uploading them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So I was curious if the live stream, like right now, is this one counting as it? Because I live
certainly,
stream.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So I might be doing like twice as much in YouTube's eyes. Is it weighted on the video, or should you change the keywords around also?
Okay. So we will hope to talk a lot about the keywords, and if that turns anyone off, like, oh, keywords, SEO, we're going to go there.
No, we're definitely going there.
The way that I share it will really change the way you think about it, really simplify things, and it really will make all the difference on YouTube. I admit I just lost my train of thought. What were we talking about right before I got off
the
on
live
that?
streaming. I was wondering if the live streaming counts the same as a public video, because what I was saying is, in the studio audience, we're filming this now, but then we also polish it up and re-premiere it. So it sounds like we're going to be able to count these as twice.
Yeah. So what I'll share is there are 4 ingredients that will get you to that spike at the 4-month mark. Okay. So the first ingredient is your episodes need to be an average of 10 minutes in length. I like to shoot for between 10 and 12 minutes. So length is one ingredient. The next ingredient is you want to have an average retention rate of 45% or higher. So if you're getting a decent amount of watch time, that's really important. And there's lots of strategies of how you can do that, and giving a hook in the beginning so it gives people a reason to watch all the way to the end. The keyword research strategy definitely plays into that, because people are finding exactly what they're searching for, and therefore they're likely to watch the whole video. Okay, so I mentioned, I'm losing my train of thought here. I say this strategy all the time. Okay, so the 4 ingredients are: you need 10 minutes in length. You need to post 5 videos a week. That's the other ingredient. 5 videos a week, and then have that good average view duration. And then the 4th ingredient is just sit there and wait for 4 months doing that consistently. and you'll have a spike. What happens is something in the YouTube algorithm waits that amount of time. They see it, that amount of consistency. And prior to then, you'll just have gradual, steady growth. And then you'll have a spike, which means YouTube is promoting you. They start to suggest you to new audiences and new viewers. And we're talking exponential, like you're going from maybe getting 500 views a day, and then all of a sudden you have a 10,000 spike with 10,000 views in a day. And that lasts several days. It brings in tons of subscribers in addition to those views. And then when the spike settles down, you're at an entirely new baseline. So instead of averaging 500 views a day, now you might be averaging 2 or 2,500, 2,000 or 2,500 views a day. And so you're like, okay, now my channel just quintupled here. And a few weeks later, you have another spike. So it becomes really fun.
That's exciting. I'm just smiling ear to ear here because so 4 months into it, now you have to stay consistent with it, right? You can't just stop doing it at months 5 and 6, otherwise you lose it, correct?
Right. And when we talk about 5 episodes per week, that is a lot. And all of the clients that I work with are busy, right? They have these businesses, a lot of times, 7-figure operations that they're running with dozens, if not more, of employees. So how can we do an episode every single day? Well, we film in bulk. So we actually will film 20 or more episodes in one day. It's a long day. It's 9 to 5. It's a marathon of a day. But then that gives us 4 weeks worth of content. So we just have to meet and have one filming day every 4 weeks. And of course, the editing happens behind the scenes, and getting everything ready, the thumbnail design. And then within YouTube, you can schedule a video at the date and the time that you want it to go live to the public. So you can, once we film, we can start working behind the scenes and getting everything else ready to go live.
As far as the watch time, you said between 10 and 12 minutes, maybe up to 15 for the video.
Mm-hmm.
What if hypothetically the video was 30 to 35 minutes as an interview?
Yeah, longer videos can certainly do well. We did some experiments actually just in the last few months. One of my clients said, well, I know that watch time is important, so I'm going to do several of my episodes longer like that. And when we looked at the average watch time on those videos, it was higher. I'm thinking, it was in the 9-minute range out of the 30 or so minutes of this video. And so a 9-minute watch time or average view duration, that is really high. And yet it wasn't one of the best performing videos. It was a good performing video, but the ones that were the best were actually videos in the 10 to 12 minute range that had an average view duration around 6.5 to 7.5 minutes.
Because it's at that 45% threshold?
I don't know how it plays in. I just know that's what I see. And so that's what we recommend doing. It's like, in my mind, if we can take the same amount of effort to make one video that's 30 minutes long, but yet we can split that up and package it into 3 different videos and get triple the results because we got 3 videos now instead of just one 30-minute one.
Oh.
That's kind of the approach there. Now, there's exceptions to every rule. I mean, interviews oftentimes go a lot longer than 10 or 12 minutes. And there's great, very successful channels. One that I love to watch is Ed Milet, Max Out with Ed Milet, and his interviews can go longer. So I'm not shooting down the interview strategy. And I'll share another thing to the point of so the one video that I referenced earlier that we used that sequel technique on, I can give you some more details on that because the first video was under 6 minutes in length. It was shorter than our average. It was just a real exciting video in a lot of ways. The content that he was sharing, the title of the video is How to Invest in Your 20s. And so a lot of people in their 20s were just eating this video up. He was sitting on his pool table with the red felt. It was just kind of a cool scene, but he stood still the whole video, or he sat still. And we thought, okay, if this video has performed well on our channel, let's remake it. So we created a new version of that video, the same exact title, and we knew we were going to make it longer. and he had never used his car in any of his episodes before. He's like, I don't want to be that guy. But I convinced him. He drives a BMW i8, which has got the wing doors. And so I had him, leave and then turn around and come back. So he pulled into his street, pulled the car up, the wing door comes up, and he gets out, and I'm following him with the steady cam. We go into his house, and the cleaning lady's vacuuming, and he says, "Hey, cleaning lady." And same content, but it actually ended up being a 20-minute episode. We weren't planning on it being that long, but it was really good. People felt like you're taking me inside your home, and he went into his kitchen and got some ice water. And okay, so that video, when we launched it, the first 2 weeks did really, really well. Higher than average of the other videos that we were posting. But then after 2 weeks, that video just took off. And that's actually that video and another video that we had a similar strategy on. Those two videos are what took the channel from 80,000 to 160,000 subscribers in that 5-week period. The point of the story, the reason I shared more detail on that, is that was a 20-minute video, much longer than even what YouTube recommends. YouTube, when you look at their guidelines, they say the ideal length is between 7 and 16 minutes. And yet our number one performing video now is over 20 minutes long. So there's, if it's longer, as long as it's exciting and really keeps people's attention, then it really helps.
And if not, take the 45-minute interview and break it into 3 15-minute chunks.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll have to test that out. More work,
Now,
but
maybe that's a good segue to talk more about the keyword research, because the one thing that I wouldn't do if you take a 45-minute interview and break it into 3 videos is to have them all be the same title and just say part 1, part 2, part 3. Just because I got some examples in my mind.
Who would have done anything like that?
Everybody. So a friend of mine, Katie, she's an interior designer, and one of her when we were doing a topic brainstorm, one of the kind of categories that she would make videos in, she says, well, I can talk about living room design. And we did some keyword research, and we found we found real specific phrases, questions that people are asking online, like how to design a living room with a corner fireplace, or how to design a living room with high ceilings, or how to design a living room with large windows. So let's say, this is just for an example purposes, but if you were to have a 45-minute video where you're talking all about the ins and outs of living room design, and then first you talked about with the corner fireplace, then later you talked about with large windows, and then with high ceilings, you could break that interview into 3 different episodes that have those 3 different titles. That would be a really good strategy, because those videos would be valuable and standalone on their own. And perhaps you even frame it that way when you're interviewing somebody. You could say, have got kind of 3 different directions I'm hoping to take this interview and turn this into 3 different videos. Maybe that's a strategy you could experiment with.
So don't do part 1, 2, and 3, but if you say the story of and talk about behind the scenes, then part 2 is the nuts and bolts, then part 3 is whatever part 3 is. Just don't use the same keywords, or it needs to be unique enough.
Yeah. And then you can reference the others when you get to the end of episode 1. You'd say, all right, in the next video that you definitely want to watch, just click up here. We go into this topic. So we'll see over in that episode. So then it connects them, and it gets more session watch time.
It's interesting. I will be happy to share the stats with you once we get them all in, because this is very curious to me. And I have tons of videos myself, and it's just fascinating. I've always liked video ever since I started in 2005 and wrote my book in 2012 on it, and I think everyone should be doing video. So why do you think most people, not most people, I don't want to pigeonhole everyone, because I'm happy to say I've recruited some people to start doing video, but what do you think is a preconceived notion that might slow down someone from starting it? Because they're all going to do it eventually.
Well, I think about it for myself and others that I see, that there's so many different opportunities, so many different social media channels and things that we're supposed to be doing. What, you're not using Twitter, or oh, I guess I need to be taking selfies every day and posting them to Instagram. And okay, yeah, YouTube videos, I'll be doing it. And with all this work that we're doing, all this time that we're spending on social media and video, it's like we don't see results. And the reason for that is, in order to get results, you've got to follow a specific formula. So YouTube has a specific formula. That's what we're talking about. If you were to follow that same formula, but use it on Facebook, you wouldn't get the same results, or use that on LinkedIn, you wouldn't get the same results. And for example, YouTube is all video. If I were to take those videos and start just posting them 5 days a week to LinkedIn, by the way, LinkedIn limits, they only have a maximum of 10 minutes per video or per post. But videos do okay on LinkedIn, but if all you post is videos, it doesn't really work so well. You've got to have a mixture of articles. You've got to go into other people's posts and comment and actually get social there. LinkedIn has a scoring system that ranks you in different categories to get a high social selling index. And when you have a higher social selling index, that's when more people are going to see your content. So because each platform has a different formula or a different strategy to actually get results on that platform, no one's getting results, because I just got to create content and spam it out everywhere. And people don't really like spam so much.
They don't? I thought it took off in popularity when they started it with email and junk mail.
Exactly.
So, what should people look for if they're looking to start their YouTube channel? They're watching you right now, they're listening to you right now, going, all right, I need to be doing this. Nate knows his stuff. What are some of the first things they should expect to get started with, and how soon? We talked about the 4 months. It's going to take at least 4 months to see the spike. How long should they have for reasonable expectation to seeing some profit from it, some new leads? Is it 5 or 6 months? Is it 9 or 12?
All right. You can expect a year from launch to have a quite profitable campaign, something that you'll fully understand. You'll know what the future looks like. You'll be able to predict it, and you'll be smiling. But I'll share with you also that what I can share right now will allow you to get results today. And the results aren't going to be money today, but you'll start to see numbers and views and comments, and you'll start to see how it's working. So you'll have clarity on that future. So let me just kind of use that tree analogy. I like to think of a tree, because we all have areas of expertise, and a tree has a broad trunk that goes out into branches, that goes out into thin limbs, out to leaves. And we tend to make videos around our broad topic or different branches or categories. And you'll actually get way better results, way better traction, and people will watch your videos all the way to the end when you make videos that are way more specific. So on the leaves of the tree. So the example that I shared earlier of, hey, I could easily make a video on how to design a living room. That might be a category. How to design a kitchen would be another branch or another category. How to design the bathroom. But if I do the keyword research and find the actual questions that people are searching for, those are the leaves. So how to design a living room with a corner fireplace. Here's what happens. That phrase doesn't get hundreds of searches every month. I believe it's around 40. I'm mixing up a couple. It might be 70. It might be 40. But we'll even go with the higher number. Let's say it's 70 searches per month, people typing in that exact phrase. So I post the video, and then over the course of the month, some of those people who typed in that search will find my video, but they'll watch it all the way to the end, because it's exactly what they're searching for. It's applicable to them. And the YouTube algorithm sees that and says, wow, this is a great performing video. Let's find more people like this that we can suggest this video to. And so YouTube starts to become the promoter of your videos. And so because we're going so specific, chances are that there's no other video on YouTube with that exact title. If you do a search, how to design a living room with a corner fireplace, you post that video on YouTube, you rank number one on YouTube that same day for that. So you start to get results. You're starting to get views. And even in the beginning, when I say, yeah, it's going to take a year for it to really to become profitable, I mean, even just within a month to know that, hey, I'm getting hundreds of views on my channel each month. That's pretty cool, and then you start to get several hundreds of views each month and then thousands of views. And, we're Chris Crone is at right now. He's averaging about 30,000 views a day. Paul Jenkins is averaging about 12,000 views per day. It's pretty cool.
Those are some pretty nice numbers. And the key word is per day. And what I tell a lot of people when they're asking about podcasting or they're talking about videos and stuff, it's like, well, you can also do public speaking, which I enjoy, you enjoy, and we do that. But think of all those people sitting in a room. They're not just numbers, they're not just subscribers, they're not just listeners, they're not just watchers, whatever you want to call it, leads. They're real people you're affecting and changing their lives. 12,000 a day, 60,000 a day. A lot of people equate advertising to the Super Bowl and they're like, oh, if I could just get on there. It's one day a year. And it's cluttered and it's not, no one's really in a buying mood. They're in a relaxing mood. And you have this resource at your disposal every single day when people do want to buy. So what have you found once you start building those numbers up? First is the 4-month spike. You said there's a second spike. How many spikes are there? Is it every 2 months after, every 4 months after for the next 2-3 years? And what are you finding people are doing for clicking the links in the description? What ratios are you seeing on conversion rates of people actually buying stuff, or at least going to a landing page and opting in?
Yeah, it's a great question. The first spike is the one that's the easiest to predict. I don't know why, but it happens at the 4-month mark. And then after that, it's there's a lot more opportunity. Meaning for the first 4 months, we're creating videos on a variety of topics, several different leaves on several different branches, building that foundation. And then once we start to have a video spike, we can then go into the analytics and see, why did this video perform better? What did we do in this video? Where did the traffic come from? And you start to find opportunities. And, the more videos you have, the more data you have, you can see, oh, this video has a much lower view duration. This one has a much higher average view duration. And then you mentioned click-through rates. Once you get an enough traffic, we start to do A/B split testing on thumbnails. And that's a huge... it's hugely effective in increasing your click-through rate. So we do our best to design a thumbnail that works from the beginning, and we might put it up, and depending on the number of impressions it gets, we might average, say, 4% click-through rate. That would be okay. And then if we can say, okay, this video's got a high average view duration, but we're only at a 4% click-through rate, imagine if we can get that click-through rate up to 8. And so we'll make some tweaks and we'll do an A/B test where it will send half the traffic to one, half the traffic to the other, and see. And we might get it up to a 6. Like, okay, definitely. Okay, so we made a huge improvement. Now we're getting more views, more minutes watched per impression is some stats that you see. And you can continue to tweak that as much as you want. So some of our thumbnails now are getting as high as a 10% click-through rate. And so it's just opportunities like that where you have some are huge spikes, some are small spikes, but you can even take an advantage of the small spikes and just find opportunities. And so everything just builds on each other. And what's really fun is you then look back over time and you go back, okay, remember that date that we had our first spike, and the thing is teeny compared to the type of spikes you're having now. Yeah, it's fun. I really think that YouTube has done a great job of really showing us and giving us all the data that we need to know how to succeed and how to grow the channel more and more.
Well, I appreciate you for sharing that, because the thumbnails are so vitally important, whether it's a web page, YouTube, and it's what you're sharing kind of reminds me of what I've told people with ads, paid advertising, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever the case may be. If someone doesn't click on that ad, it doesn't matter how cool your funnel is and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But whether you're doing paid ads or not, it sounds like you put a lot of time into making sure you have the right thumbnails, just on the video, and explain that in a little bit more detail as to why the thumbnail is so important on YouTube. Because I mean, wouldn't anyone just click on a video to watch it because you put it up there?
Mhm.
I mean, you took the time to upload it. I'm
Yeah, so the way that YouTube, because there are 60,000 minutes of video, sorry, 60,000 hours of video uploaded every minute. And that's an astronomical number. So there's so much content being uploaded to YouTube every minute. Why should they choose my video? Why should they choose your video? And so YouTube puts up a whole menu of images. It's like, well, here's an image and here's a title. Do you want to watch this one, this one, this one, this one, or this one? And so they've got this whole menu of videos in front of them. Once they finish watching a video, a whole nother menu comes. Okay, what do you want to watch next? And so if you have a boring thumbnail versus a thumbnail that's like, oh, what is this one about? It creates a lot of curiosity. Something that creates curiosity, people are going to have a much higher likelihood of clicking on it. Yeah, you can have an amazing video, but if you don't have a very good thumbnail, you're not going to get a lot of people to click on it.
Well, I appreciate the insight on that because I think it's great you can do custom thumbnails on there, and unfortunately, most people don't take advantage of it. So, Expert Authority World, if you want to do it right, listen to Nate. Have some good artwork on top of the good video. Nate, I got one question for you before the imperfect action round. I call this the Expert Authority roller coaster because if anyone thinks building business is just an upward hill and nothing ever goes wrong, they're sadly mistaken. Would you agree?
Oh, totally. I've had my business for 9.5 years, and the first 8 years is definitely a financial roller coaster. So I had many successes along the way, but had many challenges along the way, even to the point where, I'm an adult, have children, and I go to my mom and say, "Hey, mom, can I have some money?" And my mom says, "Well, Nate, why don't you get a job?" And it's really hard to hear because I feel and felt so purpose driven behind everything that I do and everything I'm working towards. And it's just like, well, I know that it's just around the next corner. I know I just got to keep working. And so it's a, entrepreneurship is something that requires a lot of persistence and tenacity. And for whatever reason, I've definitely been blessed with that gift, that I have that persistence. And now my mom is quite proud of me for where I'm at, and that I don't have to ask her for money anymore, and that
Well,
I
she
can even
should be
pay
because I
for
know
things.
you're helping a lot of people and impacting a lot of lives.
Yeah, I feel really blessed. Yeah, I'm in a really blessed place right now.
I'm happy to hear that. Who is one celebrity you would love to meet with your background in video and who you help? Who is someone you'd love to meet that you haven't been able to yet?
I will say Elon Musk, Mr. SpaceX and Tesla. That'd be fun.
And why is that?
Really have a lot of admiration for his vision and his ability to act and create things that most people would just say are crazy talk.
I like that. I like him too. That's a great answer. All right, we're going to thank our sponsor and come back for the imperfect action round. And we are back with the imperfect action round. Nate, are you ready to take imperfect action?
Totally. Should I be nervous?
Nah, I don't think so. I think with everything you've overcame, this will be a walk in the park. First question, what is the fastest path to the cash?
Do keyword research first. Before filming, do the keyword research first and then film your videos.
Number two, what is the biggest problem you see your prospects making and the fastest way they can fix it?
The biggest problem is They're in obscurity. So they have all this expertise. People are searching for their expertise, but they don't know that you exist. So how do you fix that is make YouTube videos, answer
Okay.
questions on YouTube.
Number 3, what is the best way to maximize customer lifetime value?
Really, what I found is just to never hold anything back and to over deliver. So I don't hold any of my secrets back on YouTube or in interviews. It's not like I've got 10 secrets and I'm going to share 5 now so that you'll buy my 5 in my course, the other 5. No, I share all 10 secrets. I share, everything on YouTube. People get so much value that they're thinking, wow, when I actually work with Nate, imagine what that's going to be like. And then when they do work with me, uh, I focus on not just fulfilling my end of the agreement, but I focus on really helping them get results. And if all clients are different. So if one client is not seeing the same results or stepping stones, milestones that other clients are, it's like I'll dive in and try and figure out why that is. And um, that's my approach.
Excellent. What is one book you would recommend?
Um, that it's so fun because I've always I have hundreds of books on my phone on Audible. Most of them are personal development or marketing or entrepreneurship. Lately, I've been on a fantasy kick, and so I'm going to recommend a fantasy series. In the spring, I re-listened to Harry Potter, and my daughter recommended a series to me that she says is her number 2 favorite next to Harry Potter. So it's the 5 Kingdoms. There's 5 different books in that series, and I am actually working on my own epic book series that's going to take me a while to piece it all together, but I've been working on it every day and having a lot of fun with it. So that's just something to look forward to in the future of Nate Woodbury.
Well, excellent. Let me know when it's available. We can update the show notes for your episode.
Totally.
Where can people find more about you?
You can find me on YouTube. Just search for Nate Woodbury. And my website is betheherostudios.com.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you're on YouTube also. That's awesome.
That's
And
important.
I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you for sharing, Nate.
Yeah, totally. Come back anytime.
Well, Expert Authority World, we have another great episode here today. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, and God bless.